Hi everyone, I'm Jackie Somerville. I am a dating and relationship expert, and I am obsessed with helping people to become irresistible to the lover that sets their heart on fire. Today, I'm sharing a very popular speech that I wrote called Life is Too Short for Boring Sex and Other Passionless Pursuits. I am deeply passionate about what I do because not only does the world need more love, now more than ever, I think, but because, as crazy as it sounds, the combination of love, romance, and passionate sex holds the key to your genius. I am going to explain. The most powerful of all human desires is actually the desire for sex. And I don't say that to be salacious or weird. I say that because when driven by this desire, people develop genius level imagination, tremendous courage, willpower, persistency, and creativity, the likes of which they've never known before. So why don't we tap into this extraordinary power and harness it to pursue our unlimited potential? The human desire for sex, love, and romance is so powerful that people will often risk their reputations and their lives for it. I mean, that's a lot of power, right? And when you allow yourself to acknowledge this power and harness it, it can be used to unleash your brilliance, unearth your staggering potential, and open the windows to opportunity and the doors to your individual greatness. Don't kid yourself. Love and passionate sex hold the key to your genius. In his book, Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill famously wrote, "Love, romance, and sex are all emotions capable of driving people to heights of super achievement. When combined, these three emotions can lift one to the altitude of a genius." End quote. There are certain experiences and emotions in life that take us into that altered state. You know that feeling when you're madly in love, the emotional vibration that you get when you're listening to certain kinds of music, that elevated feeling when you're in a crowd, maybe listening to a rock concert or to a brilliant speaker. The feeling that you've maybe had just the right amount of some sort of substance, the feeling of euphoria, the feeling that you can do anything. It's called being in the zone, and it's that high-level creative place that takes us into our zone of genius. There are plenty of studies being done on getting into the zone and how we can capture those genius moments and make them last. In fact, I really enjoyed the book Stealing Fire by Stephen Kotler and Jamie Wheel. It's a fascinating look at that very thing. But I think the answer is actually so simple, it probably doesn't need a whole lot more study. And it's the most natural and pleasurable human thing in the world: love and sex. Having the perfect combination of love, sex, and romance in our lives elevates us and motivates us energetically like nothing else. Napoleon Hill in his book did identify the top 10 most powerful, what he called mind stimulants that lift us into the energetic plane of heightened creativity and imagination. And the number one thing on the list was the desire for sex. Number two was related, is love. Yet, for many reasons in North American society, we downplay sex and passionate love, and we somehow hold logic and reason and abstinence and being sensible in much higher esteem. And in our society, we talk about how love is so much more important than sex. But love alone is not enough to create a great relationship or to make it last. Passion is actually what gets us through the tough times. When combined, love, sex, and romance hold the key to an extraordinary relationship and remove all the barriers between the human mind and the divine mind. You know, when we're vibrating in that creative zone, it not only brings us great pleasure, but it actually bridges the gap between us and the source of life, your creator, your intuition, your sixth sense, call it what you will. And that's actually where your genius is accessed. But in order to tap into this power, we've got to acknowledge it, open our minds to it, open our hearts to it. I want to tell you a story. When I was 46 years old, I fell deeply and passionately in love with a beautiful 29-year-old man from the wrong side of the tracks. He was tall and handsome with a perfect smile. He had big, sexy hands and the most adorable laugh I've ever known. He was spontaneous, passionate, wild, and raw. He sang in the shower, country songs. I didn't even like country, but from that very first morning, I was suddenly a fan. He wore his heart on his sleeve, and he did not care to pretend. He was no saint, but I fell hard. I missed him even when I went out for a run, and when he kissed me, I was completely at his mercy. And I had never had sex like that before. He took me to where I'd never been, to a no-holds-barred, confident, passionate place of wild synchronicity. We met in a grocery store in California. And he spontaneously told me that I was very beautiful, and I was shocked because I thought, oh my God, he's gorgeous and he looks about 22. And he followed me outside, and he handed me a paper napkin with his name and number scrawled on it in black ink, and he said, call me. And I said, no, I don't chase men. And I handed him my business card, and I said, you can call me. And he called when he got off work, and he said, hey, do you want to get together and have some fun? Well, hell yeah, since he put it that way. He was irresistibly magnetic, and I was drawn to know him in whatever capacity the universe intended for it to be. I do believe in divine guidance. I don't believe that there are any coincidences in this magnificent and complex world. I suggest you tune into your intuition and follow your heart and not your logical mind. It is said that in order to tune into your soul and follow your heart, you must first lose your mind. And boy, oh boy, did I ever lose my mind that night. Unfortunately, we haven't studied women in this light yet. But studies show that the majority of the greatest men in history were not only highly sexed, but they were inspired by their passionate love for a particular woman, the muse. And when they chose to follow their logical minds rather than their hearts, failure was often not far behind. The muse was gone. For example, Napoleon and Josephine, they were passionately in love, but when his logical mind told him to replace her with someone else because she couldn't bear children, his defeat soon followed. Passionate love is that powerful. If I'd listened to my logical brain and the advice of almost every friend and guru who warned me that I was making a grave mistake, I would have missed out on the most extraordinary experience of my life. When it comes to love and passion, disregard the opinions of others. Only you know what's in your heart. Tune in to your own intuition and divine guidance. I didn't know at the time, but the unbridled passion, the inexplicable chemistry, and the most extreme challenges that came from loving my beautiful, troubled younger man took me out of my comfort zone and into my zone of genius. My life would never be the same again. I followed my heart on a thrilling ride of love, lust, fear, sorrow, and spellbinding passion. When we were apart, I wanted him with a hunger and a longing so powerful that it drove me to throw all caution to the wind, to uproot my life, to screw comfort, and to risk everything. As the poet Rumi wrote, gamble everything for love if you are a true human being. Half-heartedness does not reach into majesty. I gambled everything for love. And the passion drove me to face my biggest fears and to risk being seen in all my glory. I'm a best-selling author and a speaker, and I'm transforming the lives of people because I opened my heart to uncertain, illogical, beautiful, and passionate love. I'd wake up in the morning after a night of wild sex, deep affection, and some kind of divinely delivered connection with my beautiful younger man. And I'd leave him in the bed and I'd go through to the living room and write. I'd write so furiously and so intuitively that I wrote a best-selling book from cover to cover in about 5 weeks. And that's what Napoleon Hill meant when he said love, romance, and sex are all emotions capable of driving people to heights of super achievement. if you choose to harness and redirect that superhuman energy at least some of the time. I also fearlessly immigrated to a new country, and when devastation struck and I was forced to face my deepest fears, I accessed courage I didn't know I had. That's the power of passionate love. You see, a human being possessed by love feels capable of doing the impossible. And that's why my work is so exciting. We can have extraordinary pleasure and access our full potential, our brilliance, our genius, all at the same time. Open your heart to passionate love, because a human possessed by love feels capable of anything. When my beautiful man was physically ripped from me in an inexplicable tragedy just 7 months after our wedding, for weeks I didn't know how I'd ever get out of the darkness. Sorrow pulled me under, and despair wouldn't let me come up for air. And in the midst of my sorrow, there was an almost inaudible voice at times, drowned out by despair, but still there, telling me that everything was unfolding as it should, and that I had the strength and the courage of a lioness, that my wildest dreams were still coming true. Napoleon Hill wrote that even the memories of great love and passion are enough to lift us into that higher plane of genius, creativity, and courage. Passionate love is a magnificent gift, and it does not have to last forever. And if you choose to see it this way, it will continue to bestow its gifts on you for the rest of your life. So I challenge you to give up living a half-hearted life. It's time to gamble everything for love. Your brilliant potential, your courage to live the thrilling life of your dreams, and also extreme pleasure depend on you opening your heart to the passionate love that you know is calling you. I want to share a love letter with you now that I wrote to my beautiful man. Baby, there is not a man on planet Earth who kisses like you. I think about your kiss and how it made me putty in your hands. I think about the time I was in the bathtub. You walked toward me with purpose and lustful focus, taking your clothes off one item at a time. You climbed in and got on top of me in one move, so dominating, never available for no from the one who had chosen you, always so certain that I'd want you, and I did. I think about the time we were at the Ritz. Do you remember, before we were married? I remember being on my back with my legs over your shoulders, and tears rolled down my temples. I cried. I cried because you took me to that place where physical sensation and emotional depth collide in a feeling so perfect, tears cannot be stopped. Right over the edge where bliss dips into ecstasy. I'm a good lover because of you. You stripped me of my inhibitions, of my self-imposed insecurities. You built up my confidence, complimented me, wanted me, took me, pushed my limits, refused to accept timidity and modesty. You took me to the edge of my preconceived limits, to that edge where we can catch a glimpse of our greatness. You taught me that the real me exists beyond my comfort zone. You took me there physically, and that affected all aspects of my life. I'm becoming all that I was put on this earth to be because you took me there, and because I had the desire and the courage to go along with it. Baby, you are my reason for excelling. You are my purpose for success. You are my passion. I will always love you. Ah, yes, passion is what makes life worth living. It ignites the soul and pushes our limits and stimulates our highest potential. I do dream of a world in which every person experiences the kind of passion that sets their heart on fire and engulfs their soul, to live and love with an intensity so powerful that it drives them to throw caution to the wind. Because with that kind of passion, anything is possible. I know the passionate road is often a treacherous one. Oh boy, I know that. And I'm suggesting you take it anyway. Passion is key, because how you do one thing is often how you do everything. And if you're willing to love without passion, chances are you're living without passion. If you're stuck in a mediocre relationship, my guess is that your life probably feels mediocre. And if you're alone without a passionate lover in your life, my guess is that you feel that you have so much love to give. And not only that, but I know that you have the desire for love and great sex, and it's a beautiful, natural human desire that deserves to be fulfilled. When your sex life is great, your relationship is great. And when your love life is great, you feel capable of anything. So don't put off love and passion for another week, month, or year. That could lead to a lifetime of mediocrity. And I know there's genius in you. You have so much love to give and so much talent to share with the world. So the question is, what are you waiting for? When we open our hearts to passionate love, it opens the floodgates to so much more. The window of opportunity, the door to our potential. Our light can shine through. Resisting passionate love is resisting life. And I know it can be scary to open your heart to passionate love. I mean, what if it doesn't work out, right? But what if it does? And I want to end this with a quote by the Indian mystic Osho, who said, "When you love a person, all fear disappears. And when you are afraid, all love disappears." End quote. So choose love over fear. Your genius just might depend on it. To work with me, the link's in the description below this video. And if you've liked this, please click the like button, share it with others, and of course, feel free to leave me a comment. I do love to hear from you. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications so that you never miss another episode of Jackie Straight Up. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.